I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Welcome, everybody. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Has the board had an opportunity to review last meeting's minutes? Yes. And there are any additions, edits? I think everything's been approved, but if so, we can get a motion to accept.
Motion.
Second, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. We're going to move along with any public comment at this time. We do respect the quorum. We'll have 5 minutes to present. According to my list, Mr. Doe, you have the floor.
I'm just wondering, Tubbs Park is a park, and the fitness thing isn't something that I'm against, but like Steve said the other night, while somebody asked about a community center perhaps being moved in there, we have to think about the fact that it's a park. What are we trying to do with it besides use it as a park? Lima doesn't have a lot of parks. I mean, it's pretty much Tubbs. So, to use the space that we have should be sparingly, I think. And that's more of what I wanted to say tonight.
Okay. We do have that as an agenda item moving down later on in the evening in detail. I'm going to allow Brian Smith to comment on that when we get to that part of the agenda, if that's acceptable.
That's fine.
Very good. Is there anyone else who has a chance to present or address the board? If not, we're going to move forward with the department reports. Chief Gary, Fire Department, please.
Good evening. Really, we don't have a ton of significant things to talk about tonight. We do have a number of training that's gone on over the last 30 days and community support events. 20 calls action, really nothing of significance to note on there. Upcoming events, we have our kind of this Saturday is a big day for us with the Santa breakfast in the morning. Then we prepare our fire truck for the Christmas parade in Honey Falls that evening. And then that night we do our raffle drawing every last day of our raffle sale. So we're getting pretty close. We've still have about a little over 100 tickets to sell, but we're doing pretty good. So we're pretty happy with that so far. And then looking forward to January, we'll do our mandatory OSHA training classes as our drill in January in person to get that done. And our interior guys are doing the bottle consumption test for that. And then looking forward to kind of just some miscellaneous items. I'd like to I'd like to use $3,500 out of the SCDA reserve fund. We had 10 bottles that were coded out in our SCDA inspections. So we do need 10 replacement bottles. I've shopped around. The best I can do is about $3,500, just under $3,500. I'm sorry, $350 per bottle for a total of $3,500. I'm still waiting on one quote, but I don't believe it's going to come in under. If it does, I could certainly adjust that slightly, but I'd like to move forward with the purchase of those bottles to get us back up to speed on that. Our DEC grant application is completed. That'll get submitted later this week. They have some specific things you can request. So we're looking for some wildfire fighting gear and a thermal imaging camera to replace one that was broken a couple of years back. We've kind of been doing without. I did complete the work with the town historian on the plaque that's going to go inside the window there for the child's and the kind of the history of the fire department. So that's in final production, and the executive board approved that. I spoke with the Livingston County Water Authority guy on the design of the Water District 5 and where the hydrants are going to go. Bottom line, they don't have a final design. He said that they're not at that level yet where they can tell me where those things are, which I thought they were further along in that, but he said he would involve us in that.
And
process.
the hydrants will every 600 feet. So once they start going down, they have to be at least 600 feet before they put the other ones.
So, and we're going to let Ryan Kenny's going to kind of take the lead on that. He's very smart on the NFPA standards for that.
Ryan, I'm sorry.
Ryan Kenny's the second assistant chief.
Okay.
He's also the career firefighter at Brighton. He's very familiar with hydrant standards in terms of flow and volume and pressure and placement and things like that.
Is
Because
it a standardized hydrant like we put in?
it's a standardized hydrant, but there are certain requirements, say every 600 feet, but there's also, if there's a consolidation of houses, 4 or more houses, and you're outside of that 600 feet, another hydrant is warranted there. So there's some other aspects of it that we just want to see considered in that process. So he's going to work with them when they do provide us the plan, which they said they would as soon as it's solidified. Also spoke with the regional safety manager for NOCO about some of the concerns we have up there with remote monitoring of their fire system. So he's going to get back to me, and that'll allow us to complete our pre-incident plan for there. I know we're going to talk about the USDA grant in a minute, and we're also moving forward with our reapplication for the FEMA grant for the SCBA systems. Again, we just had the SCBA inspections. All the systems passed, the bottles did not, but we can get some replacement bottles that'll give us a couple more years while we apply for that grant. And then a year from now, if we don't get the grant again, then we can look at potentially that USDA loan application. And the last thing is just kind of where we are with the new apparatus. You may have seen it. It was out here for the tree lighting ceremony. We used it to light up the area. The radios have been ordered. That came in just under $20,000. We started to get pieces in, but the delivery won't be complete for about 4 weeks. And then we've moving forward with radio installation, lettering. We have to spend about $3,000 on adapters, about another $3,000 on some equipment transition. Right now we're focusing on driver training and pump operator training. January is going to be kind of more of the same to get everybody through that and install the adapters and test the radios. And then February, the old truck will be out of service and the new truck will be out of service while we physically transition equipment and material from one to the other. And the goal is that on the 1st of March, the new apparatus is in service, ready to go. Any of your questions?
I saw
Go ahead.
the physicals for your firefighters in there. Is that all of them that was?
So right now, only the interior firefighters are required to have an annual physical.
Okay.
That's what I was going to touch base on. Thank you for your support of the tree lighting. It was fantastic as always. I appreciate your help in getting Santa around the block. And next year we'll try to figure out how to get Mrs. Santa, Mrs. Claus, to be with Mrs. Santa as well. But thank you for your service and we appreciate you, Chief.
Chief, quick question for you. So February said both trucks will be out of service. So what's the backup plan for that?
So East Avon will cover for us. I mean, in a pinch, we could still bring that other truck there where we could bring both potentially. But I mean, we don't often have a need for both trucks, and usually East Avon can cover. So we've already spoke to them. They're going to be aware of the status going for that time period. I think 30 days is worst case scenario. My goal is to have it in less time, but that's what we're kind of looking at for about 30 days to transition.
And what's the plan for the old one? Or going to put that out at auction? Or?
Yeah, well, not to auction, but we'll put it out for bids to see. I mean, we'll try to do it ourselves locally first, and avoid the fees that a broker firm might charge us. There's a lot of places out there that sell fire trucks that do it as a business, but they also take a chunk off the top, obviously.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can put it out through some of our networks first and see if we
Is
can
there
get.
like a blue book value or something like that?
Yeah, it's a little hard to do. I mean, we know we would like to get $30,000 for that truck. That's maybe a little bit of a stretch. We're probably looking at more around 22, 25 at the end of the day.
So we're going to shine and get more?
We're gonna start off around 30,000 and see if we can find the right buyer. And sometimes that might come from out of state. Sometimes we might not attract a buyer at that price here, but we can out of state. Just might take a little bit of time. So we're in no giant rush to get rid of it. We can store it until we get the right amount of money for it.
Awesome. Any other questions for Chief Garrett?
It was very festive today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Before we move on with the ambulance, I have a little bit of a statement and comment that I'd like to make publicly regarding some of the terminology and some of the actions that I took, and I'm holding myself responsible in error. I try to speak with conviction and confidence in everything I do. I try to research my topics so that I speak the truth and speak with transparency. And I reacted instead of responded to a lot of the accusations on the ambulance department, Lima Volunteer Ambulance, and how it was being run. It should be run like a business. And I coined the phrase, we used it loosely at board meetings, and thought, yeah, maybe it needs to be run like a business. Not ever thinking that it was already being run like a business. We talked about, and my response was, okay, we're going to make sure it runs like a business. We're going to be fiscally responsible. You know, look at the operating procedures, look at the numbers, et cetera. I put together an advisory board, to try to get together and evaluate everything and see if we're doing we're doing diligence and doing it right. And what I didn't think about, instead of, like I said, I reacted instead of responding, I should have gone to the ambulance and talked to leadership. I should have asked them to present me with financial information, with the history, because over the years we've heard tidbits and pieces of the reports. We've got financial accountability for MedX. This is what we're working with on an annual basis. But when you get tidbits, you don't see the big picture. So I asked Chief Rose to put together some information for me. Too late. I should have said it beforehand. I should have asked beforehand. And this was the binder that I got. And this binder holds 4 years of financial details of everything you can possibly want to know. What was spent, where the money came, where it went. It has operating procedures. It has details relating to the number of calls they made over the last several years. And when the advisory board that I put together, as I had mentioned in the previous meeting, with Supervisor-elect John Cates, Council-elect Adam Lewis, Tori Andrusik, which is who is here today, Mr. Cates is here, Sean Fowler, who is a CPA, financial planner, has extensive experience running businesses and doing financial outlays, and Erica Rogu, who is here, who is our ambulance representative, and myself and the chief. When the advisory board went through and went through all the information that Meg had been handling, it's already been run like a business. It has been operating like a business. And I think I lost their faith and their trust in thinking that I didn't support them. And for that, I apologize. So I want to make that real clear, that this group of people for the advisory board was not to take over the responsibilities of the ambulance. And I did not make that clear to Meg, and I should have, so I'm sorry for that. But it's there to help support her and take any kind of weight off of her, any responsibilities, so that she can have some family time. And when we try to implement this paid service opportunity in the first year, that we can with success and with transparency and with confidence. And my confidence is within the Lima Volunteer Ambulance, with the current leadership, with all the staff, and exactly what you're doing as it stands. So my official statement is this, but I wanted to premise it with what I said just now. Lima Ambulance Advisory Board recently completed a thorough review of the Lima EMS records and operational practices. After examining all reports from the past 4 years, the board confirmed that a consistent pattern of transparency, sound financial management, and strong organizational practices. It is evident that the Lima EMS has been operating with professionalism and accountability of a well-run business. The Village of Lima maintains full confidence and appreciation for the leadership of Lima Volunteer Ambulance. Moving forward, the advisory board shall shift its focus towards supporting the Lima Ambulance and its leadership team to ensure that they have the resources necessary to sustain and strengthen ambulance services for years to come. If this model proves successful, which I'm sure it will, the village will consider extending similar approaches to other departments. So, hope that's clear. I'm human, and I make mistakes, and didn't mean to offend you. So, thank you for doing what you're doing. I'm here to support. We are here to support. And moving forward, let's knock this out of the park and be the shining star of Livingston County. So, thank you.
Thank you for bringing that out, Mayor, and sharing that. Thank you.
It needed to be said, and I did not want it to go silent. So with that being said, Chief Rose, can you report to us, please?
Okay, I'll just hit a few highlights on the report. On the side of all the stats, there's a new line under outcomes. We're starting to try, when possible, if we can pull up 2 crews to do transfers home from the hospital, see if we can bring in a little bit of extra income. It's not a huge volume in doing it, but we did pick up 2 in the month of November. Again, that will only happen if we have a crew that's dedicated to the ambulance. I'm not pulling our ambulance out of district to run people all over the place, but we're looking into that as another potential funding stream. So you'll see that on there now. It also is reflecting the under location, the Dansville and the Canandaigua. I know that those 2 we didn't get called Canandaigua from the trade. That was us going and picking something up and bringing it back. So that's on that side. On the other side, so we're going to be purchasing a visual and auditory alarm for our oxygen levels in 282. When we purchased 282, it did not come with that. 281 has one. 281 needs to be repaired. It's not calibrated. You've been so you've got your M tank inside. You can look at the valve, but the box that's not. You see that the outside of the ambulance. The box that's on the inside of the ambulance is about 200 psi off. There's a little sticker that says add 200 psi. So anybody who's inside remembers that. But unfortunately, it cannot be repaired internally. It has to be shipped out, and then they calibrate it and send it back to us. So we're also going to be purchasing one for 282. It's too much of a risk to not know for sure how much oxygen you have when you're in the back. And we write it down at the end of each call, but it's too much of a risk. So we're moving forward with the purchase of that. I met with Senator Tomlin and Senator Bailey talking about some funding ideas. They're going to keep funneling some more ideas towards me. They didn't have anything right now for us, but they it was effective. I gave them our wish list of items, and we'll see if anything pops up. So about the staffing company, I actually just heard about an hour ago the job description is live, and they sent it out to all of their members. If they don't get a bite from people who are already internal to the staffing agency, then we can put it out further and see if anybody wants to be hired by the staffing agency to work specifically for Lima ambulance. But we're going to start with looking at people who are internal to that, because they've already gone through all their process and not anything else. Yeah, this would be smoother if we can hire them directly. And I spoke with them, and we're going to get an orientation process set up. We know what it's going to look like, so that piece shouldn't be a problem once we actually have some people lined up. A team that we went over depreciation and vehicle replacement schedules, so we have a little bit more organization and have that all written out. And we are going to be purchasing a training program. It's about $2,500 annually. It gives our members the ability to do or ENT, I should say specifically, all of their core content, which is required education that we have to do to recertify. This program, the nice thing about it is that we can get a waiver from the state that gives us permission to do all of that education online instead of having to have it 50% of it in person. We'll still continue to offer in-person education, but I prefer in-person, and I think in-person is really important. But given how busy our volunteers are, it'll make everyone's life so much easier if they don't have to try. Well, there's certain topics you have to get training in, and it's very specific, and trying to find just the same, but all those things in person in order to create that balance can be stressful. So a lot of other agencies use similar programs. We looked at it, I think I brought it to you guys like 2 or 3 years ago, but at the time, the pricing didn't match. They brought the pricing down. At that point, you had to have 20 members in order to make it reasonable. They dropped that number down about half. So now we have some flexibility to be able to do it. I took it out to the EMTs, and it was overwhelmingly people said yes. The majority were in favor of doing it. It'll make things easier for volunteers. So we'll move forward with that. It's really not that much in the grand scheme of things. It's a little more than what we currently spend on medication, but I think that it's justifiable for what it's going to do for members.
Do many of your members have CME from their other jobs? I know a lot of your EMTs are.
Some of them do. The nice thing about this is it kind of it stores all your information too, so it's got a great tracking system. And so, like, some agencies already have programs like this, but not all of them do. And there's enough of us who don't run with an agency that has that opportunity.
There's also the compliance part of it, so if you're tracking your compliance internally, that's.
We have we have a tracking system, and then this will be just bonus on top of that. So, but it's just gonna. The most important thing is that we're going to be able to deliver from the state, which will allow for more asynchronous learning, which is just considered as easier. They got anything for me?
You have some applications here.
I do.
You want us to leave these in your binders?
So yeah, and I have 4. I said 2, but we actually have 3. This one's not being ever installed.
So, I just the only question I had is Abby. What position was she doing?
Abby she right now is looking at, she's coming on as a driver's she's not currently in EMT, but you can see in her application, she says that she's in nursing school and is interested in medicine. So I think the potential is there for more, but if you're not an EMT, you can't come on as an EMT.
Right, I see that we are Dalton and EMT already. There's no discussion, I'll make a motion to accept Emma Barnes, Eddie Emilio, if I pronounce that correctly, and Dalton Rugenbacher for the ambulance corps.
All in favor? So moved.
I just had one question. It's Hand TV purchase? Fantabby.
Yes.
So I'm not familiar, I was wondering.
So
measure.
Fantabby is an app that Melrose is using. It helps with medication dosing and protocols. It's on your phone. It's a reference that we're really lucky. It originally was only available to paramedics, but we were able to get it for all providers. And the purchase is they're called tapes, but they're not actually tape. They're a strip of plastic, and you lay it down next to a child, and based on the color, it's got color demarcations of it, and based on those colors, it tells you their approximate weight, which tells you, and then, the yellow, you put yellow in the app, and it'll tell you what the dosing is for that child, for that size. On the BLS level, it's less critical, because a lot of our medications are not as weight-based. But any calls go on that ALS would be giving medications, BLS providers would be expected to be helping with that piece of it. So there's Roswell tape is what we previously used, but this one we purchased because it matched directly to the app we're using, and that way we're consistent with what the paramedics are doing, and we've got the right equipment in the situation. Because everything that's pediatric is a higher stress call.
Absolutely.
But they seem, we just arrived, and they seem like they're definitely more durable than what we had previously.
Okay. And they match up with Livingston County?
Yeah, so all paramedic agencies in Melrose, so Monroe, Livingston, all are using Fantabby for their medication dosing. It's actually been amazing with how much it's decreased medication errors. And this is just one of the pieces. We previously didn't have this particular tool, and now we do.
Thank you.
And the price wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
Really
I
super
was
inexpensive.
wondering about the switch over.
Yeah, for that price, we got 3 to make 1 for each ambulance and 1 for the flat card. So,
That's fairly durable.
and they're durable, and they're what's expected at this stage.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. I do want to make also a mention, when I said this advisory board, I didn't want to say it loosely, like they're going to dissipate and disappear. We plan on meeting on a regular basis to try to help sustain and support the chief and the agencies the best possible. Sean Fowler has stepped up like you wouldn't believe. He has actually converted the financial documents that the chief has already prepared into a spreadsheet format, which is more business relatable, if you will, so an accountant that would look at it would be able to understand, just like our budget is prepared. So we just basically took those numbers and transitioned it into a different readable form. But he also came up with like a 5-year capital plan, a P&L compared, a profit and loss compared to prior year, actuals through budget, actual budget items, a P&L 5-year plan, cash plan, financial operations procedures. You'll be able to do some average response time comparisons, volunteer satisfaction survey, which is something really important. I think we need to get an idea of where the volunteers are when we get these paid people in, making sure that we have good positive mental attitude for people that are integrating paid services with volunteer staff. And also time savings metrics, having the staff, paid staff at the base what our time savings is in response time. So there's a lot of intricate details that we're going through that I'll be able to share with you as the meetings progress and we get closer to making a decision on what days and what hours and how we're going to make this work. So you'll be a part of that in the coming months. Any other questions for Chief Rose?
Can I make a comment even though I...
Yes, Tori, absolutely.
No, it's just I didn't sign up to speak, but I just want to let everyone know that on Wednesday, December 17th, volunteers that are not medics, so anything supporting the ambulance, so fundraising, marketing, technical, anything else, we're meeting at 7 p.m. at the ambulance day, so if anyone wants to help, then come join us.
Awesome, thank you.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
on Wednesday, December 17th. Yep, Bill.
It's the Friends of the Foundation.
Is that gonna be a standing meeting?
That fall under the,
Yes.
the nonprofit foundation.
And that's what day, I'm sorry?
The 17th.
Wednesday, December 17th.
Will that be a revolving or standing meeting?
Oh,
Or
we're
just a-
still trying to figure
figure
out
out.
the best time of day. We're working for that, we don't even want to.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a side note here about the USDA Rural Development Loan Opportunities for Fire and EMS. I did finally get a call back after 3 months of trying from the department in Canandaigua, and she forwarded information to me, but I really don't know much about the terms or the interest rates or things like that, so we're still trying to get some information, so I don't have all the details, but there are some loan opportunities available. Whether or not they make fiscal sense to the village, we'll have to figure that out. So as soon as I get more information, I'll be able to share it with you. All right, Dave Kirkwood, wastewater treatment plant, please.
It's hard to follow up fire and EMS with sewer, but I'm just going to go through this real quick. I printed off the board report for you guys. There's pretty much just been a lot of heavy maintenance stuff going through for the season. Our UV system got pulled beginning of November, just to get shut down for the year, so we pull it out, winterize it, save on its use. I've been going through a bunch of stuff with the boiler, trying to get that back up to shape. Basically, I had a little leak in one of the circulators, and that has turned into a nightmare of a project.
Is that a methane leak or?
Not just water, it's just the circulators for the hot water to the system. I looked at like $8,000 for a circulator pump. There's 4 of them on there, and they just run non-stop. 2 of them do, and then
They're electric pumps.
Yeah. And boiler heats the digester, which we need. It is we can't live without it. So we're trying to get these fixed. It's just it's going to be they're old, it's hard to get parts for them. They're in rough shape. So We've got one rebuilt. I've got another one apart right now. I'm waiting for the parts to come in for it. Hopefully by the end of the next week, I'll have it back together, and then I'm just going to try and get the next one out.
So you're rebuilding it?
Yeah.
What would rebuild cost if we send it out?
I don't know if you could get them done. Like I said, they're pretty old at this point. I don't know if all the parts are available, so we're kind of trying to do some retrofitting and some creative problem solving. At least the one that I have apart right now is pretty rusted out. I think we'll get it back together. The main seals, bearings, all that, we've been able to order. So the main hardware bits are all going to be brand new. Just a little bit of the housing is going to get kind of some.
Well, thanks for taking the initiative and saving us money, because I'm sure if we brought somebody in, that would have been,
Yeah, like I said, the pumps are about $8,000. This next year, before November, we are going to have the company to come in and look at the boiler. It's due every 2 years for an inspection, and before the inspection happens, I believe it's our insurance company that inspects it every 2 years. I'm going to have the boiler people come out and go through it, because it's been quite a few years since it's actually been like that. But circulators I can handle, so we'll try and save some money on those. Again, basically it's just the maintenance stuff we're trying to get to. The only real important thing is the 2 big flight pumps that are down below for recirculation. Just have not had time to pull those out yet. That's going to be a good couple-day project. They're big, I think they're like 8-horse motors that are submerged in the back of the plant. They got to get pulled out, the oil changed in them, and inspected for leaks, make sure the electrical motors are up to snuff and everything is good with them. They're running right now, they should be all right. One of them is getting pretty old, but it's still running. I have looked at rebuild kits for those as well. It's going to be $500-600 a piece for them, and I think next year I'll probably try and get one of them rebuilt, and we'll just try to do that in-house. I did get new bearings in for the big recirc pumps, the Gormans. Those are the ones we were going to try and figure out, sending the motors out to get them rebuilt. I'm going to try and do it in-house. At this point, it's going to save quite a bit of money, and with the amount of stuff that I got to get fixed down there, I think it's just going to be the only way we're going to get it done. So we'll get those apart. They're not crazy expensive motors, so I'm not too worried about doing it. Pretty much, yeah, just maintenance. And then as I'm going through all this, I'm trying to write up some detailed reporting of it, so whoever comes along next has some detailed lists of how to do each thing when they come through, when it's due. Some yearly schedules, so you guys know what is supposed to happen. The only thing I'd like to add on here, I've been talking on the phone, we have what's called a SCADA system. The upgrade, it got added. It's basically a reporting. There's power outage, a critical alarm with the UV. It's all so your flow management basically calls me. It's like we've got a pump house to call out for emergency. It's an expensive system, got added at the thing but never turned on. The last steps of it never got done. Talked to the company today, basically they said, yeah, they just had to call and have it turned on. The only problem with it at this point is the software is out of date. The guy said, and I'd like to spend this to be about $600 to get the guy to come out, update the software, put me through the training, and get everything set up and turned on.
and this is going to give you digital access for alarms and warnings and things.
Not much. It'll basically, it's going to be set up to call me if the flow gets too high, because if it gets over 300-400 gallons a minute coming in, how you know, because it's going to be bad weather when it happens, but there's a few changes we have to make to the plant if that happens. So it's going to let me know if the flow gets too high. There's a bunch you got to do if the power goes out, so it's going to let me know if the power goes out, because I believe that is on a different grid than I'm on at the other end of town, so.
Didn't Larry have something like this? No?
He talked about it, never went.
Yeah, it was there, it just never got turned on. Yeah, so he said he should be able to come out by the end of the week, and we'll have this up and running and going.
Without doubt.
Other than that, I'm going to try the rest of this month through the holidays, not get into too many crazy projects, because I don't want anything catastrophic happening over the holidays. I'm just going to try and get everything set up, focus for the beginning of the year, and see what order we're going to tackle everything.
Awesome. Thanks for taking all the
See where the
initiative.
budget is. But, yeah, no questions?
Also, one other thing I was just going through, so if you remember last month, we advertised to get his motherboard fixed and everything. So it's been our 30 days, so we can go ahead and move forward with that. I would assume board approval, so we call MW Controls to work with that.
So we can make a motion to purchase the motherboard for MW Controls.
If there's no discussion, I'll make a motion to upgrade the board and have it sent out for repair or replacement.
And a second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Happy days.
Get it?
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks.
Make sure you turn it on. Maybe consider flex seal, you know, they go to both.
All right, moving along. Ben, what do you have for us?
I start off, as we see out there, it's white, winter is here, it's coming a little early, so we've already had all the plow trucks have been out, sidewalk tractors, pusher, snow pusher, everything else on there. We haven't had too many issues, but a couple things we had to repair right off the bat that went as we were using them, but we got up, everything's up and running. Biggest problem we're having right now is people not realizing it's winter and they're still parking out on the roads. Town's having the same problem coming through, the roads going down 5 and 20 or 15A, cars are parked on the shoulder. It's an issue, so we're gonna start making little notes and we're gonna start on the cars. And we'll see if we can get people to start moving their cars appropriately. Obviously, then the second part of this is leaf and brush pickup is over, so people will start trying to put stuff out there. It's done for the most part. The dump trucks have the sanders in them, so we've been trying to be accommodating. We went out again the other day with one of the town's little dump trucks that they hadn't had to start out to pick up the brush that people are throwing out into the snow. It's done. We're moving on past that. The new sidewalk tractor should be here, hopefully, if it isn't, it should be done next week, but now with the holidays coming up, it's already in Avon, it was half put together right after Thanksgiving, so that should be here soon, so we can get that into service. Starting in January, I'm gonna start looking again for the leaf machine tractor. We got that coming through, I've been in contact with a couple salesmen that are coming through Empire Tractor, I forget the name, that they went over with it, along with John Deere coming through. We're gonna start working on that again in the winter, so that we'll have something for next year. I'm gonna utilize probably the CHIPS funding for that. I talked to the state about it, it qualifies, we can go through there, so that's gonna be something that won't hurt our reserve funds as much. We're also gonna be getting ready for our dump truck. Our oldest dump truck is 2016, so it's gonna be 10 years old. Box is rusting out, everything else. The truck itself isn't bad, but we're starting to get electrical issues with it. It's from all the salt. You can't have a piece of equipment that's in the salt for 10 years. Doesn't matter what the hours are or mileage is on it. Things are going to start rusting out, pieces are coming up. What salt, the spreader we replaced 2 years ago is $3,500 for all the wiring. It's just going to happen again. So once it gets to this point, it's going to go. So we're going to start looking at that. And other than that, that's all I have for right now. Christmas decorations are up. We got all our electric fixed. Over the summer, someone took out a couple of our electric lines. We got those back up and running. So everything wired in, and it actually worked when we plugged it in. So good to go.
Why were the electric lines disturbed?
Someone came down with a box truck, they had something on the side, and it took out about 175 feet of our cable and electric. So we had to put that back up, and we ended up, you're good, just you can set it right there, it's fine. So we had to wire it all in again and run a new cable and get it all situated. So all taken care of, it went up smoother than I thought when we did it, and when we plugged it in, everything worked. So it went right okay.
The person who did that have any clue?
Nope. We just found it on the street, on 15A.
And no one's held accountable?
No, I think it was a delivery truck for one of the businesses, and whatever they did come around, they hooked something and went, so it happens.
Well, thank you for extending the leaf pickup. I know I got a lot of positive feedback from people trying to get it out on that Sunday or Monday morning.
Yep.
Extended
It was cold, and the guys were chilly, we were bundled up, but we got through it.
Well, the decorations look great, and we appreciate your work. I know you're shorthanded. Any questions for Ben? Moving along to Alyssa, please, Clerk Report.
I don't really have anything because one item from agenda item, so there's just,
Motion to pay the bills.
yeah.
Total bills are $345,503.33. Not to shock the audience, but that does include a $275,000 fire truck. So, can I get a motion to pay the bills, please?
Motion to pay the bills of $346,000.
Second, please. All in favor? Opposed? So moved.
And just real quick to go back to the fire department, I didn't hear where anyone really did,
To move funds.
to advertise for the 3,500, so we just get a motion to do that.
And is that enough? Because you can always go a little bit more so that you've got everything there. If you take out 4,000 instead of 3,500, it gives you a little more room because you can't take more.
Sure. 4,000 would be,
Yeah.
advertise for the 4,000, you'll see the reserve.
You make a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to take out $4,000 transfer funds.
Second.
And all in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Alyssa, can you please do a vehicle notice in my Lima app? Is that
For
possible?
the winter parking,
Yeah.
didn't I just do one?
You did send one, I think, last week.
Did you?
I can send it out again, I'll just send the same notice out.
If you don't mind, I wouldn't mind, it wouldn't hurt to hit it out there again.
Share it on some of the other social media.
Sure.
Maybe it's just what's
Very good. Moving along, any other questions for Alyssa? Thank you, Alyssa. I'll be meeting with you on Thursday to try to see if I can volunteer some time to help you with some paperwork.
In the afternoon.
Yeah. You're there at noon, right? On Thursday, 1. I'll see you at 1. Anybody else that has some free time on Thursday, maybe we can meet at 1 o'clock. And we can rally and see how we can help us. Parks Commission updates, please, Brian.
Park Commission has been, among other things, working on the master plan update. The last update was in 2019. We will present that to at the next joint board meeting. It has been delayed. I'm assuming our joint meeting will be sometime early 2026. Following that, there will be a select citizen review committee. About a dozen citizens will get a chance to go over the review for the master plan update. Those folks, the idea is that we get to 85 to 90% with the Parks Commission. The select committee will just get it to the other up to 98% finished, and then we bring it out to the public for comment and review. Those will all follow on once we have had a joint meeting. So I suspect we'll be having in that position by the springtime. So just letting you know where we're at. So people will have an opportunity to make comments, to give their opinions, and we'll move forward. Any questions about that?
How is this subcommittee going to be selected?
The Parks Commission has already identified half a dozen people. If someone wants to volunteer, once we have the joint committee has given out to both the town and the village, if someone wants to volunteer for some reason, we'll take that into consideration as well. It's generally going to be people that are, several people who are direct neighbors, several people from our faith-based community who utilize it, several people from each of the established groups that utilize the park, such as the Pumpkin Festival, the Civil War group. So there'll be a representation, cross-representation. Somebody from the Golden Majors. So we've identified a number of people. They also include someone who's a Parks and Recreation expert, someone who's a tree expert. So we're looking for people with defined value to the park before bringing out the entire group.
Brian, have these people been notified yet?
Most of them have, yes. Again, we haven't filled it out yet, but once we get the interest coming back, we'll be able to fill out that group. And it's about a dozen people, not a set.
So is Parkside Place represented?
It is currently.
Is someone there that you've identified?
Yes. And again, as a board member, I know your Parkside Place, you'll have your sort of overpowered voice in that as well from the park, from the village.
Thank you, Brian. Any other questions for Brian regarding this one, the updates?
If a volunteer was interested, are they reaching out to you? Are they reaching out?
They can reach out to anybody on the Parks Commission.
On the Parks Commission.
And then because the Parks Commission will be filling filling that void.
Which is Josh, Steve,
Nope, it is Ben
Ben.
and Brian.
Brian.
Steve Roundwall.
Brian, Be Well in Lima update, please.
So Be Well in Lima, we have a pretty full group of very active people. I want to let you know, just to start, that everyone's invited. First Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock here. Be Well is a program that originally came down from Livingston County and the Genesee Valley Health Partnership. So they are looking to improve the longitudinal health outcomes for everyone in Livingston County, and we, Be Well in Lima, are looking to improve the health outcomes of everyone in our community. So we are planning to have a volunteer fair. This past Friday was International Volunteer Day. We kicked off a program between now and April 25th, which is National Volunteer Week, where we will reach out to every volunteer organization or group to have a fair in the town hall on the 25th to help improve, outreach to the community, to improve volunteerism and give people an opportunity. I know that a lot of people are afraid to volunteer because they feel like they don't have time. There are clearly lots of opportunities for people with expertise to give value to any organization. You don't have to be a 25-year-old firefighter with who's willing to give the hundreds of hours of training to be in the fire department or the ambulance as an EMT, as long as you have a skill and a desire, and that's what we're looking to get out to the public. Also, for our festivals, typically those festival committees are about a dozen people doing work all through the year, but as those festivals, like the Pumpkin Festival and the Crossroads Festival come up, an additional 10 people who can give an hour to 2 hours or 4 hours would be great. So this is an opportunity to improve volunteerism in the community on top of everything else over here. Be Well is also involved in something we're going to talk about, an old business. We'll wait to do that.
Brian, back on the Park Commission, you want to make any comments about the rotted roofs?
You know what? I had it right on here. I apologize. So Steve reached out to some people. We had originally gotten a bid to replace the roofs on the two gazebos in the park. They're both rotted out, more than 25 years old. They're cedar shakes that you can literally go underneath and push out with a stick. So the original quote was between $1,200 and nearly $1,500 to replace the roofs on those two roofs.
$14,000.
I'd say $15,000. 12,000 to 15,000. So I thank you, Steve, because in my head they shouldn't have been even. Well, they're 10 times more than I thought they should be. That being said, Steve found a contractor, Mennonites down in Kenyan, who put in. We decided on corrugated steel with texture, including new cupolas. The price tag is $3,500. $3,700. $2,000 for the Legion, American Legion one, and the other $1,700 for the one that's Mr. Tubbs dedicated to. The American Legion, I spoke with them just yesterday. They were voting yesterday to cover the cost of the $2,000 on the American Legion one. They are also committed already to coming in the spring and sanding down and staining the rest of the gazebo. So they've been very good neighbors to the Parks mission. So if we happen to get good weather, there may be a call out to tear off those roofs. A good wind and a stick will take most of it off. But I no longer get up on roofs. I used to do it a lot because I put myself through school. But if anyone is interested in helping, there will be a call out on social media to come and help clean up. And then we'll try and get everything out to the parking lot to get picked up.
We'll figure something out. I'll meet with Steve here in the next couple of weeks, take a look down and see what the crew can do.
Right. Again, the weather hasn't cooperated so far, but we may get a lull in somewhere in January. So
That's their plan right now, Brian, probably sometime right after the first year, should be completed before we get into the springtime.
So you're thinking
It's a
February-
one-day job.
So you think of February, March, weather permitting type thing?
Even before then, they'll, as long as it's not wind blowing and snowing, they'll come in, it's gonna be a one-day job, John. So, yeah.
So, and again,
Pending the roofs coming off ahead of time, of course, but,
Right, I was gonna
and
say
I'll
that.
work with Ben, we'll work with them on, them in the town on what's available for resources.
Okay, keep me in the loop, let me know how, I mean, so I'll be a part of that, I'll grab my tool belt and rip off some cedar.
Crossroads Festival update?
Yeah, please.
So, we utilize something called Placer AI. It's a program that the county owns, that pays for, that tracks your cell phone, lets you know about visitor to the particular, you can ask for particular visitor information. The algorithm was reevaluated. The number for the festival is a little over 18,000 for this year, 2025, making it the largest free festival in the county. It's nearly as large as the number of attendees at the air show as well. So I want to thank everyone, particularly the DPW, for the work that they do to get ready for that. And anyone who's interested in helping out, we also get support from EMS and the fire department for that as well. So thank you for everyone who does that. It is a hallmark event for Lima, and a way for us to showcase our town and village to people who come to visit. So, thank you. There's been an offer from Lakelands to place a storage shed, a concrete vault that they would create. I am asking the village to consider a place to put that somewhere here, whether it's on the village parking lot. I'll also be asking the town at the next meeting if they have a place that's more appropriate, perhaps either at the village green or the lower lot, that could be placed. It literally just has to be someplace that a crane can drop.
Well, that's town.
I know, that's town, this is village.
Up there.
Yeah, up there, and then.
Well, those dimensions of the car, how big is the vault and what's it supposed to hold?
It would hold the items that are used for the Crossroads Festival.
The big giant blocks to hold down the tent.
No, it would be for the tables that we purchased. Following Mr. Still's timely passing, the Crossroads Community Council purchased about $3,000 worth of party supplies, and we're just looking for places to store them. Currently, they're going to be stored by Mr. Wiesenroth, where they currently are, but this is an offer from Lakelands to support the community by having a place to store them. Now, as we move forward with the purchase of the property over by the fire department, that could be another place. I'm literally just asking you all to think of a place that would be appropriate with close to the downtown.
Once again, do you have a dimension, are we talking 10 by 10?
They're I believe they're 15 by 15.
Because that's a pretty good size to put up in the parking.
Right, it would take up a space.
Yeah, it would take up three spaces, like they're coming to, but that's fine, I'm just trying to figure out something like that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure it out as well. I don't have an ideal place for it. I think maybe the ideal place is for the town, in the town's lower lot. Maybe that would be a better place, but something to think about. I'm just asking for you to think about that and where that might go. So, again, Lakelands is offering to do that, so I want to share that, so. That's all I have.
All right, any questions regarding Crossroads Festival updates? Moving along to the old business, we've got LED proposals for village buildings.
So in your binders, you'll see the proposals. I'm going to preface this by saying my apologies that a lot of this is rushed into December because the program, NYSEG is participating in, where they will, parts of the cost is ending this year. So in 30 days, or well, actually in 20 days. So there is a bit of an artificial rush on this, so my apologies for that. If you look in your binders, you'll see the energy savings plan, National Grid is given. This is for the Lima DPW interior exterior is for the fire department interior, and we decided not to do the exterior. Lighting, is that correct?
No, we're gonna do the exterior.
We are going to do the exterior. Exterior, interior, and the ambulance in the interior, when we looked, the exterior was aged.
There was also one for the pump house. which
Yeah,
is
a
next
brand
year.
new one that came from the pump house, I just saw that today.
Which is a couple $100, which is nothing, like $400 for the lights up front. So not a big deal. I believe the ambulance is moving forward with it, fire department is moving forward with it. The pump house, we're gonna do the village highway, we're gonna do what the funding we're gonna do for that is. I'm gonna make a motion, or need a motion. We have an old CHIPS account, it is now a building reserve fund. Back in 2005-ish, give or take, we put up our pole barn, had money coming in from that from CHIPS to put it up. Joe had originally thought about putting a concrete floor in, depending on what was going through. However, the barn ended up, by the time we got done with it, was so much that we couldn't afford the concrete floor. There was $8,000 left that didn't come through that, so we've had $8,000 sitting in a building reserve fund up at the shop. What I'd like to do is take whatever the cost is for the lights out of the building reserve fund, advertise it for 30 days. However, we're still going to move forward with it. If for some reason in 30 days, someone comes in here and says, oh, I was considering we shouldn't do it, we'll pay for it out of the such a garage. However, with the money there, this is the proven the best way to go on with it. So I need a motion, so we can advertise it, kind of thing. And next month we'll approve it, but we'll go ahead and move forward with it either way. So one way or another, we'll pay the $3,500 to get all the lights done. It's just which account will come out of.
And that's for the interior.
Interior and exterior at the shop. We did this program 10, 12 years ago or so. So the lights we have are fine. We've got 8 or 9 of them that are out. I still have bulbs. But if we do this now, you'll get another 12, 15 years without having to put anything in it. So for the $3,500, it makes sense.
So I'll make a motion to transfer,
Advertise.
notice for transfer.
Notice to advertise.
Notice to advertise of $3,500.
Whatever it is.
$35,000 to $4,000 as dictated by this numbers.
And Brian, ambulance and fire department would also like to keep that out of our reserve still. So fire department will come out of our building reserve funds, and the ambulance is out of their reserve funds.
So I guess we'll advertise for all three.
Well,
If for some reason there's a stick about it, we each will probably pay for
We'll
it.
figure out where it is, but as you know, we just have to be signed before the 31st
Right.
to have that done. So,
And I also have to, if you were doing the work yourself, I also have to send
No,
that.
we're gonna have them pay for it.
All of it's gonna be done.
That was why the quote went up from 1,200 to 35, is because it's prevailing wage.
Okay, so prevailing wage is the issue, and we have it all done. So I'll make a motion.
Is the wastewater treatment plant included?
No, it's not in there for that, for the amount of light, by the wastewater treatment plant, lighting isn't the issue, it's the pumps and the motors for the high electricity. You want to keep
Motion to advertise for all three places, DPW, fire department, ambulance, go out to bid for replacement of LED lights in the amount of, she'll have it. They're all right here, so, I don't have the math, but about 3,500, 1,800, and this one looks like another, 3,500, so. Motion.
That was 8,800. I didn't know more than that.
Next.
The next bill that goes through, the national grid is how it's gonna come
Yes.
through.
Do you have a second? Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? So moved.
There's also a letter from the Green Team supporting this letter. Enter that in the notes of the record.
Very good. Any questions regarding the LED proposals for the village buildings, including the ambulance? Moving along, MVP fitness court proposal.
6 months ago, made aware of a program by National Fitness Council to that grant funding
Thank you.
for fitness courts or fitness court, fitness studio. There's a national program of over 1,000 that are placed across the United States. There are 29% of the counties in New York State have them, including 2 built in Rochester, a 3rd being placed at Tennessee Valley Park right now. They are an outdoor, free to the public, programmed gymnasium concept. They come with a long-term app-based group, app-based program that allows people of all ages and abilities to utilize the equipment. Lima does not have a gym. Financially, it's unlikely that anyone will be able to put a gym in Lima unless they're going to attract from other communities, which is a little on the small side. I've had this conversation with at least 3 different people who had interest in putting one in, just the numbers, I'm afraid, don't work out. This is an opportunity for the town and the village both to invest in the future, current and future health of the community. The town, at their meeting a week ago, has signed a non-binding agreement. I've received a $35,000 grant from MVP Health to begin this. I've shared that with the board. I'm very happy to, once we get through this, share this more widely with the rest of the public. But this is the first step of milestone 1 to adopt and complete the resolution of adoption. It states that we will work to find funding. I will be doing that. There's a New York State Department of Health grant that's due Friday that I've been working on. That fits very, very well with this program. This program has been funded by them in the past, so there's a history of it. After that, we'll be reaching out to public and private groups, including our representatives, to bring them on board, and then after that will be corporations like Wegmans, who sponsors the ones in Rochester, as well as local corporate companies and local sponsors. So this is a very well-designed and well-supported group that puts these in across the country. So I'm going to ask for the village to...
Clerk Report, could I just interrupt? Could you give us some more details, like what is the size, where would it go, and what equipment it has?
Sure. So it is intended to go in Mark Tubbs Park. The location will be decided upon between the Parks Commission and the engineers from the International Fitness Corporate campaign. They have a support group who will help site it. It will have to fit within the master plan, which we have.
Is it in the master plan now?
It's in the master plan, which is not completed. It will be completed by the joint meeting, so it's still open for that. It is a special project in the master plan, similar to the community center, both of which are not guaranteed at this point. Again, it is a non-binding agreement to accept a $35,000 grant to move forward. It's a trigger. That makes it a trigger to allow us to request this funding. If we don't get the funding, we don't move forward. We're looking at there's 2 sizes. Fitness studio is 38 by 72. The fitness studio is 38 by 38. The fitness I apologize. Fitness studio is 38 by 72, and then there's the fitness court. Sorry, the fitness court is 38 by 38, so it's half the size.
Can you repeat that one more time?
My apologies. Yeah,
Studio is
38 by 72, and so double the size of 38 by 38. We're going to go for the largest and the most to start, with always having an option of moving backwards, depending on funding, or if it doesn't fit well in our spaces.
So,
So what do they put into this?
so starts out as a concrete slab, a 4 to 6 inch slab, same as you have for a building. Over the top is over the top is a surface. On the court side is body weight exercise pieces. They can be step-ups. There's very few moving pieces. It has a 25-year design life. Maintenance is minimal, to be washed down twice a year. And so it's designed to be outdoors 365 days a year.
I got a picture. If anyone wants to see it.
Can I interject with
Yeah.
Callie has a question, please?
Yeah, what is the total cost of this, and is it either usable between the months of, say, September till end of April, because it's outside?
Well, everything that is available outside is usable. It just depends how hardy you are. So yes, it is. It's usable 365 days a year, every day that the park is open. It is the total outlay, if we get the largest, it would be $300,000. Currently, we're asking for a $30,000 Parks Fund reserve from the town, which they have approved. I'm asking the village to approve that. My goal is to replace those and not spend our reserves after we finish this through.
But there's no roof, it's open.
There's no,
So it couldn't be used during the rain or when it's snowing or in the winter.
it could be used, I can't
It
tell
couldn't
what
be
you're saying.
used, I would imagine, then.
It can use, you can use it, if you're hardy enough, you can use it at any time of life.
Is there gonna be some kind of maintenance to like shovel it where it snows, stuff like that? Has that been considered in this cost?
So it's a public exercise area.
Right, so
Similar to
public for themselves?
Similar to everything at the park that's outside. If someone wants to use it, we'll get a shovel and put it there, and they can shovel it out as part of their exercise. Okay, it's really about people who want to do it. The nice thing is that the app gives people of all ages and all abilities an opportunity to improve their physical fitness. Beyond that, we can't make people do that, but it is an opportunity for our citizens to be healthier.
And Brian, excuse me, I'm sorry, did you have another question? I didn't want to interrupt. You said the total package that we're looking at with the studio is 300,
That's correct.
and we've received 35,000 so far from the first.
30,000 committed from the town.
So 65. Do you know what, like Wegmans has contributed?
I don't know
towards the
what
process?
Wegmans, in their markets, I did have a discussion with a person who was familiar with Wegmans. Now, we don't have a Wegmans in our particular market, but we do have opportunities from our senator and our assembly person. They're the next person we look at. And again, I'm looking at the Department of Health grant, it's $125,000.
That's DOH.
Yeah, DOH.
Is that New York County or state?
That's state, New York State DOH,
That's 100 and what?
$125,000.
So you're chipping away at it little by little.
And again, if it doesn't, we don't reach those goals, then we scale back. If we don't reach, if we have an issue that we don't want it, we scale back. This is a non-binding agreement.
I have a question about that. So nothing in this resolution doesn't say it's binding, or doesn't say it's non-binding, you know, so it's, is this form, like a kind of a set form?
It is a set form.
And acceptance?
Okay, so this is their boilerplate form.
I think my concern is if we don't get the funding, or if we don't, if we want. You can pull out at any point.
We can,
With no consequence.
with no consequences. The issue is that Lima was chosen because we have a number of very good goals set already for health of our community. We have need, which is paramount actually to the DOH grant. The space we have is centralized. One of the goals of the healthy communities is to be able to walk to someplace
to get exercise. So it's a less than 10-minute bike ride from almost everywhere in the village, including the 3 schools, the college on the hill, the Crossroads school, and the Lima primary. They're all walkable. One of the other walkable areas that is a concern to the Department of Health is from trailer parks. So it's walkable within 10 minutes from 2 trailer parks in the village.
Where is the location in, I'm sorry,
No, I mean, my preference would be to add something to make it clear that it's not being subject to additional work approval. But if that, I don't know if that's gonna kill it or what, I mean,
We'll find out tomorrow.
yeah, so it's, you know,
This is, the trigger is required today in order to allow me to pay the grant on Friday.
Kelly,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we have to be mindful that it's a park. Park is a park is a park, and we live on the road going to the park, and tons of people walk by every day. People walk their dogs there. People, in the summertime, the kids are driving by with the fishing poles. People get a lot of exercise because of the trails, because of the green space. And I just wondered if the idea is to have a place for people to work out. We have 2 buildings that are empty that could, have gyms we put in them with the same amount of money, or have, bring in a YMCA to do a thing, or there's lots of private corporations that would love to come into towns and do community centers. But the fact that it's outside, and I look at our winter, winters we have here, I'm not sure that it really is the best call for this area. And I applaud the idea to have a place for people to work at and do this. I think that's a good idea, but I think we have several places in town that could be utilized for gyms. And I hate to see us take any more green space from the park.
so were you going to comment?
Yeah, I had a question. So Brian, you said that they chose Lima. So there's not one in Ontario County, there's not one in Chief County, there's not one in Livingston County. So this would actually bring people to Lima.
Correct. The closest ones are in Monroe.
Right. So there's nothing
one
at all.
Right. So only 29% of the counties in New York have any, and those are actually around population clusters or colleges.
Okay. Based on what Karen was saying, is there a spot other than North Couch Park that would be walkable that would fit?
The only other place that I can think of would be the Village Green next door.
It's the old DCC satellite, there's the old.
We don't own those.
I mean, for doing an inside space for doing it.
We don't, unfortunately, again, it's not that we haven't thought of it. There's two sides of it. One is that the program exists as it exists, and it's an opportunity or an option to work with that program that's been successful at 1,000 other sites across the country. As I said earlier, I've spoken with 3 different people who considered opening again in Lima, and finances just don't work for them. Now, if you know of someone that would want to do that, that's a private matter, then that's something. But I don't know of any funds that would allow us to do that for a building.
So have you visited the ones in Monroe County? Have you seen them?
I have.
Are they in use?
They are in use. Again, it depends when you go. It's going to be less in use today than it is in July. That being said, there's only so many options for that. And I know people that walk in the park every day. I know people that, regardless of the weather, so those would be the same people who, regardless of the weather, would like to, would want to use those exercise facilities.
I need to speak for a few minutes regarding this. First of all, Brian, I do, for anybody who knows me, I'm a registered nurse, and I'm also a certified personal trainer. In 2023, I was this close to opening up a gym here on Main Street, and I had worked very, very hard with the Livingston County Economic Development, was ready to open the doors, and unfortunately, the place and where I was going to rent, that fell through. So there is an interest, I think, with many people. I had to do an alternative that put me kind of out of the way, and wasn't big enough to really pull off the way I had hoped. So there is interest. Obviously, people do need this. I have spent a lot of time since receiving the email, which I just got last Thursday, about this. So I have done tremendous research about the National Fitness Campaign. They're out of California. They've been in business for 40 years. They, as you said, Brian, their mission for 40 years is really to bring health and wellness to communities throughout the United States. They are not a charity. They are not a not-for-profit, and there's a lot of confusion with that. They're for-profit. They're trying to sell you. They're wellness consultants, okay? So I have some points, but I took upon myself, I spoke yesterday to the Director of Parks and Commissions in Greece, where there is the Parks, this fitness court over at the Basil Moretti Park on English Road, and wonderful man. I spent 45 minutes talking with him, Peter O'Brien, about that. They said that the company was phenomenal to work with. They did so in a very timely and professional manner. However, like you, Callie, and some other people have shared, there is great concern about, this is an awful lot of money for only being able to really utilize it November through April. Our weather doesn't support it.
I'm just going to ask you if you could talk to me.
Oh,
that's fine. No, you don't. Just don't turn from me.
Oh, okay. So excuse me if I don't. So in speaking with Mr. O'Brien, he was very positive, although they also have a fitness center. And of course, more people are going to the fitness center. So anyways, so there isn't, and they clean it off. They don't clean off the snow or the debris, but they do a rounds once a week for DPW. Then today I had the pleasure of speaking with Janice Burgess out of Phelps, who also is at the village town. They also have a fitness court. This is around, it must have been a big thing around 2022, 23, because this is when all of these were getting installed. She also said that NFC was wonderful to work with, but again, their cost. I do want to say, for Greece, the town of Greece has a very robust recreational fund and trust, so they just paid them $100,000 that they needed to offset the other expenses.
So, excuse me, Erica, were they able to get the Department of Health?
They didn't go there. They didn't need to. They had the money. Greece had the money just to say,
if they only paid $100,000 out of pocket.
It was like $135 for Greece.
Okay, because I'm saying that
Yeah,
that's
this is a couple of years ago too, so the price was certainly.
so it wasn't $300,000.
No.
Theirs is a fitness court, which is half the size of the studio.
It's the 38 by 38. That's the one they have. And so their court was $138,000, give or take, but then they also had to pay $2,000 for freight insurance for this gym or this court to come. So as it turned out, they paid about $100,000 out of pocket. They had their DPW prepare the land and pour their concrete. So I have a lot more details, but I won't.
So they did some in-kind
with all
services.
the town. So the residents of Greece did not have to pay a dime out of pocket for this park, okay? And they purposely, for this court, so they purposely.
How could they not pay a dime?
Yeah, but I said that sounds like it came out of the tax.
No, it came out of their trust fund. They have a robust, we call it a recreational trust fund, that is, they've got the money. Their money. So
What's that?
That is
The reserves.
I think I would have a.
they have great donors, that's what he said. There's a lot of people that.
That's a big.
So, but again, it wasn't through grants or Department of Health funding, it was out of Greece's rec fund, okay?
We are going to have to work a lot harder.
Janice Burgess, she's the director of the community center in Phelps Fitness Center, also stated again, as I said, it was a great experience. Again, the village and town and a private local foundation is what funded their ability to open that 38 by 38 fitness. All right.
Erica, did you get any feedback from them as far as the public's response?
Oh, yeah, because I wanted to know, are people using it? And,
Because they're in the same weather
yeah,
situation.
exactly, that's right.
Actually,
So in Phelps, they purposely have events to get people to use the court, but it just depends, because they also have all of, if there's soccer practice, parents can work out, and then, while their kids practicing or whatever. So there is, but when you compare it to indoor versus outdoor use, obviously it's going to be indoor use. More people. You have three kinds of people. People that want to have something for free, they can't afford, either for whatever reason or they can't afford it. There's those that prefer to work out outside, and then they identify those that certainly want to work inside, and then obviously pay a membership.
And that is the one thing that I want to make clear, is that this would be free to use by the public.
Right.
Not free to buy, but free to use.
No, it would be a lot, yes. So I do have some questions. So, I am, as you know, the park is a very, very special place, and like I will echo Kelly, the green space is huge. The park is what, 14 and a half, give or take, acres, and we already have, in Mark Tubbs Park, we already have 2 dog parks with an adjacent shelter with picnic tables, a community garden, a pavilion with picnic tables, bathrooms, an entrance garden walkway, 2 baseball fields, a soccer field, and a gazebo, 3 designated areas for playground equipment. I know it's not a sandbox, it's some kind of a game box or something. Along the...
Gaga pit?
Yeah, what is it called?
Gaga pit.
Yeah, so that pit's there. Along the west side trail, you have already chin-up bars, balance beams. And please, let's not forget the Tubbs Memorial Garden, that sitting area. We have that bench and the pretty flowers and bushes there. In addition, we already have the pond. We're trying to work on the dock. We're trying to work with the DEC with their concerns. We have the O'Brien property that was gifted to the village to do the memorial walk, And then what about having room for the annual 4th of July celebration, Civil War reenactment, Pumpkin Fest, and I know Elam does their annual congregational picnic there. So if we have now one more thing in there, how and where are we gonna, it's like so crowded. So, I'm not saying I'm against fitness. Fitness and health has been my life, professionally and personally. However, maybe this should be considered here in town. This would be more local than to keep destroying the park. And I have to say, when I talk to people about the park, time and time again they say, why aren't the trail, the asphalt trail, why isn't that being fixed? We have, every summer or spring through summer, we have an individual who's in a wheelchair. Their family religiously pushes him up and down Parkside Place because he can't access the park. He can't get in there carefully. I know people who have fallen on the asphalt and won't go back to the park because they got injured. So I would rather see, let's take what we have and let's fix the trail so we can all enjoy it, people of all, abilities, and make that more accessible. And I guess, my biggest thing here is Lima is really a special place. It really is. And I just see that the village, we need to put our time and energy into developing our village. And Brian, you once said to me, our park is our greatest asset, and I respectfully disagree with you. The people here are what our greatest asset. And, you know, if we don't start doing something with the village more, taking care of those things, then we're not going to have people to come here and that. So if we want to attract people to Lima, let's also do it so we, as the people that live here and pay the taxes, also can benefit more. We give and give, and I'm happy that we give as a community, but do we as a community get much back, if you're following, in revenue from, you know, we're free with our 4th of July, we're free with so many things, and not much gets in return here downtown. So I would love to that we could really do more, put our money and the energy into doing that. The other thing I want to just say from a personal trainer's perspective, when people work out, there is a real thing, or why people don't work out in public, it's known as a gym anxiety. This is particularly with women. They are embarrassed, they're fearful of being ridiculed, laughed at for how they're working out, how they look. So a lot of people, we really question how many people would really use this. Plus, it's seven stations, if you will. You're using your body weight. And I know there's an app, there's a billion apps already that people can use. They don't need to use this national fitness campaigns app. There is, the Avon workout gym there. I know for $15, if it still is 15, you can go to high school. So I just think that we do have resources, and again, my biggest, these are all concerns. However, I really am concerned about the park continually being, from an environmental conservation perspective. You don't live there, I see it. Not anybody on any of the village or town boards or park commission live along the park. There is deer, there's fox, there's so many cool animals that are there, and this just continually
Lots of rabbits.
And lots of rabbits. And it disturbs it, and I just hate, at what point do we, when do we say enough is enough and just enjoy the beauty and the wildlife of what Mark Tubbs Park really is?
Well, you touched on a lot of things.
I did.
A lot of things. A lot of what you said, while they're good ideas, don't really address the idea of having free public access to exercise equipment.
But does the public, let me ask you, has anybody come up to you and said, Brian, I want free fitness and to move, how many people? And how many public hearings? I haven't heard anybody. I haven't heard anybody say,
But how wonderful it would be to have a place like a community center where it isn't just the fitness aspect. It could be a place where seniors go for lunches, all kinds of things, after school activities.
After school,
And we could
And I
draw
agree with that,
people to Lima.
but we're talking about two different things.
Right, but you could have that, it wouldn't have to be this exact type of thing, but it could be a fitness area in a community center, and people come from out of town to community centers. There's not one in Avon, there's not one in Canandaigua, there's not one, Canandaigua, yes, not in Bloomfield, not in Rush, and it could be with a member fee for if you live here, you don't have to pay as much, and people from out of town would pay more. But that building, that satellite building from the old GCC, isn't that under $3,000, $400,000, isn't it the same price?
It's not available. It's not available.
I need to interject just for a moment here, because, and I'm grateful for your input, and I appreciate your input, and you brought up a lot of valid points, so thank you to the audience as well. There's a lot of considerations. We don't get these opportunities that get handed to us for grant opportunities that may not cost us anything. take into consideration the impact that it can potentially have on our park as it exists, eating up green space, those are considerations. We're at the point now where we haven't even decided to do this yet. We don't even know if we can. So the question is, should we pursue it? And if, like what Matt was saying, if there's a clause that we can put into the agreement that is non-binding, and kind of let it develop, and we can make our decision as things progress. I'm just putting that out there.
I was just, you know,
Is there a deadline?
I was just like say for just one, I only need 1 minute. So as I look at the numbers, so $300,000 total, you get a DOH grant for 125, the MVP grant for 35. So you get 160 out of grants, that means there's going to be a local match of $140,000.
But you mentioned the town and committed to 30.
But that's included what you're already putting in.
110.
Town and village, 140. The 60 plus you have to come up with another 80. So it's a significant amount of money. And if we're talking about dealing with fitness, the easiest and most universal exercise is walking. And if you go to the park, what you see is that is the biggest activity. Walking or walking your dog.
Yeah.
All ages can do this. Okay? I mean, I'm a little skeptical that unless there's like structured classes there with instructors, people just ad hoc going over there to work out, I doubt it. It's been used that much. But the trail is used, it's been proven. And it's wholly deficient right now. Okay? It's served its life. I think it's been in there for, 25 years probably. I mean, improving that macadam trail around would get guaranteed 100 times more use than this.
I agree.
And I would hope that if the goal is fitness and health, that we put our money where there's the greatest possibility and probability that there'll be benefit. So I would like to see the master plan in the town and village look at improving that walking trail, because that is the #1 used thing right now. And Erica's right. I've seen people with a walker trying to go down that trail,
Forget it.
and
Nobody's
it's tough.
going down there unless you're-
So
Me or
that's all I want to
Steve.
say. Walking, to me, is the most universal thing, and let's support
Yeah,
that.
and I agree with you, John. I don't want to get off topic about it, but I know that Brian must, and with Josh back in the time when he was on the Parks Commission, we talked about paving that thing, and you just can't find people that want to give you money to put asphalt down or concrete down. And
Well, I don't know if it, at least when I was on the board, we never pursued that, because
No, we didn't.
one of the things that I said was we needed a master plan, a current master plan, to be competitive for Parks and Rec grants. Now, this is folded into a handicap accessibility goal of not only improving, making it ADA compliant there, but also our pavilion, where the bathrooms are not ADA compliant.
Right.
You know, we're not in wheelchairs. Have any of us ever tried to get through that door with a 2-inch lip and then try to negotiate in there? Those bathrooms should be ADA compliant eventually. It's a lot of money, but that's why we have to look strategically with our master plan and look where the money will do the most good. And I just don't see this project as, with the amount of money, 140,000 local match, I see it probably sitting there. The JCC used to have an outdoor fitness thing, and these were popular in the 70s and 80s. You'd run down and you'd do an exercise here, and there'd be a plaque on how to do it, and they ripped them out. Nobody ever used them. People go over to the park, you're going to jog, you're going to be on your bike, or you're going to walk.
Or go fishing.
So that's my statement.
any other comments from board members? Ben, Josh?
Is there no way we can incorporate, we're planning on building a community center. Is there any way to incorporate the fitness thing in the community center?
Well, those are just two completely different projects, both of significant value. As you know, we've been working on the community center for several years. We have some amount of money, just an initial $47,000 placed into the fund for that this year. We can go out for those and look at that, and we have been looking at that. But it's not just the cost of putting that up, it's also carrying costs. So, again, this is an opportunity to move forward. It's non-committal. I'm just asking if this board will do that.
The only thing is, my understanding, according to what you sent us in the email, is that there's deadlines that you have to have the whole money by June or July of 2026. And so between 6 months from now, we've got to come up with what was the balance there.
$140,000 total.
And that's a lot to go. And if we don't do this today, it won't allow me to go out for those grants or to seek that money.
And I'm not, I'm not a, do we have a guarantee that the Department of Health ran it there for $125,000? But again, regardless of all that, is this what the population of Lima wants? And why are we doing it? Are we doing it for fitness, for our people, or are we doing it so we can bring more people here to try to keep us more alive? I mean, I'm not really...
Is there an opportunity, Brian, and Erica, to your point, is there an opportunity that if we hypothetically did move forward with this and to do a public information?
There absolutely will be more public.
Because I think that...
Again, there's, as you saw in the sent you, there are milestones.
Right.
The first milestone is to adopt a non-binding agreement. Without that, we can't do it.
Is there a deadline?
Yeah, there's deadlines. There's a whole...
When's the first deadline?
Tomorrow.
Oh.
That's just for the adoption of the idea.
When's the next set of?
You have to have the remaining funding available by June 30th of 2026.
Right, but I'm saying if we don't agree to do it for this time, to give us more time for input and discussion, what is the next deadline for us to?
There are no other deadlines.
No. June 30th is a funding deadline, but we decided to have a public information meeting, get some feedback from it, maybe with some slide presentations and other pictures of different, I'm just throwing it out there.
Right, so we don't have an option 2 years from now to try to increase it again.
I don't know if we will or won't. That's a speculative question that can't be answered.
Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to understand what our options.
So the deadline is put forth by who?
This NFC here.
The fitness center, the fitness campaign.
As I said earlier.
The company, yes.
So,
So
as I said
why would
earlier.
I mean, if they're trying to sell things, why do they put a deadline? Wait, let's wait till next year, why can't we, I don't understand. Why would we put a deadline?
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
No, for the fitness center that's trying to sell us this fitness center, why are they making a deadline? I mean, is that product going to be obsolete after this date or what?
No, it won't be obsolete.
So, no, but why would they put a deadline? That's what I
They're
don't
probably
understand.
trying to get
Because
this to their numbers.
they're trying to put 50 of these into New York alone, so there's lead time on production.
And the thing too is their ribbon cutting ceremony is going to be done, weather permitting, in October. So how many people are, will be out there, but then you can't use it all on 26 into 27.
We need more discussion, or we need to make motion or movement decision on this. I mean, it's not decisive. Everything's contingent on what Matt said.
I think there's other options, I really do, for our community. Can I just say to,
Sure.
Mayor, excuse me.
That's okay.
I had come to the board 2 years ago, both village and town, saying that I would, as a personal trainer, be happy to do some for a very nominal, very reasonable fee to offer something to our community. And I would be willing to revisit that. I don't do Tai Chi. I can certainly go get certified, but I do a lot of other things, like balance work, just general fitness, education, a lot of education materials. So, I mean, I could offer that as a further thing, but I just, given everything else we're doing with our village and here in the town with the water district issues, the sewer, I just don't think right now that's this is a feasible thing. And again, the green space, the park is not going to be anything but just so cluttered you can't even move in here, so.
Bill, I'll give you the last comment, and then the board needs to make a decision here soon.
One thing I just want to say real quick, we had to fight like hell to keep the ambulance here, and now we want to spend money on a fitness center.
Well, we're not gonna be spending
Well,
big village
I mean,
money.
They're two different pockets of cash.
I understand.
It's not.
We can't come out of pocket for this, so it'll have to be from the.
Okay, so if it's not contingent, why not do it? If we can't get the money, we just don't have to, right?
That's my point.
That's
what I said.
Okay.
And the interim between now and June, if we can't get the money, then it's a no point, but at least we can get some feedback from the public in the interim.
Same conversation happened with the town. Town supervisor elect is here. That will be the same conversation. It's already the same conversation. So it's an opportunity. That's what I'm saying.
So can we make a motion at least to accept the, what was it called?
So it's a resolution to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2026 National Fitness Campaign.
But with
But the location, are you being specific about the location of it?
that will be presented by the National Fitness Campaign, the other party involved. Parks Commission, but we'll have a public meeting and information meeting so we can see.
Which will also be part of
site location options, et cetera, between now and June.
It will also be part of the Parks Commission update on the master plan. So
Correct.
it will be integrated.
And improving the walking trail.
The Be-Well has been focusing on that for the entire year with the Veterans Way 250. We understand and know that the walking trail is in poor shape. It is anywhere between $20,000 just to rip it out to maybe $125,000 if you wanted to put it in concrete. So there are a lot of options, but not going to happen today. So we are working on development, bringing it to light.
So can we put a clause in?
I don't think it's binding, it's just not that clear.
It's just,
I got a rule saying, it says we're going to endeavor to verify by June 30th, so I guess I would be a little more comfortable with an additional sentence instead of subject to additional for approval, but that would be right on.
Can we do a conditional motion?
Well, conditional motion?
Or conditional that we can put the additional clause on the adoption.
You do whatever you want, I mean, I think it's probably fine the way it is, but I mean, it's not awesome.
I would rather you be 100% positive we could get out of it.
I'm not 100% sure about anything like that.
Well, in this case,
And as I said in the email, this is a boilerplate, 50-state resolution.
Can we get any confirmation that it's non-binding before we submit it?
If it's due tomorrow, he's gonna have to get it passed by as a non-committal thing to go with it, and if it isn't, town already went through with it.
The Parks Commission has said it. If we don't do it, we can pretty much say that it's probably not going to happen. So if that's the goal this evening, is to not have this happen, then let the board vote on it. But if it's a goal that we try to move forward, no guarantees on happening regardless, but if we try to move forward and take the opportunity, then that should be the goal.
I have to just speak up again, my role as a village trustee is to really just be a voice for the people of Lima, and I have not heard one person say to me that they want to have an outdoor fitness court in Mark Tubbs Park that they could possibly maybe use, 4 months out of the year. I just don't feel we have feedback we don't have any feedback from the community. This is just.
But if we say no tonight, then we're not giving the opportunity for the community to have feedback. If we say yes, then at least we have opportunity to go out and talk to the community.
And get some more prospect and feedback.
So, Brian, this $35,000 is not available next year to go from MVP or what?
So, would it be available? I don't know. Sorry,
So,
I don't know.
what's
If
the-
it would or would not be available.
What's this pressure to act.
Well, again, I apologize, I've been working on it for 6 months, along with the supervisor. The mayor has known about it as well. This is an opportunity for the community. If I'm just going to ask, put forward a resolution. I will ask for a resolution to adopt and allocate funds for outdoor fitness court as part of the 2026 National Fitness Campaign, and accept a $35,000 grant from MVP Health for such. And that's for a second.
Anyone? Josh seconds. We have a vote in favor.
Aye.
Opposed? So it's moved. Motion is passed. Yes.
Erica, as far as the trails, they have been noticed. Again, being on, we can only do so much in any given time, and it has been talked about for handicap accessible, so that is on the plan. Short-term plans for the, but I would like to find out, I put a call into Andrea Bailey today, and obviously I didn't hear back, but I received something the other day. I'd like to know why we don't find out about these grants through our politicians or through Livingston County funneled on down to our little town of Lima. New York State just handed out $50 million this past week to communities, and if you look, they're 90% downstate. There were 2 towns in upstate New York that got some money, but there was $50 million they handed out for community upgrades on community centers, parks, trails, stuff like that. So, and how do we find out about this stuff? It's a shame.
And I would just like to say, Brian, you said you've been working on this for 6 months. I think we need to know that more, not like out of the blue here. I think there needs to be more, for lack of another word, transparency about that this is things we're working on, so.
We just got that information back, didn't we, Brian? Yeah, so it was in works for several months, and unfortunately their timing is crap, for lack of a better term. We need to move along, please. I don't mean to lose anybody, but we do have new business, water and sewer rates. Melissa?
All right, so the sheet that I handed out at the beginning, that just has a whole bunch of questions on it. I went through and did a little bit of an analysis with what we were talking about regarding water and sewer rates, where the suggestion that we had before was about, instead of looking at just raising those rates, like $1 or whatever we need to, we looked at adjusting the base rates for properties. So the spreadsheet or the printout that you have on the one side, and I did write water on one, sewer on the other, shows you, it has a list of all of the multi-dwelling units in the village, and we're outside, because the trailer park's outside, right?
Some on the outside.
Well, some of them are inside, but then anything that's like units that are outside as well, so let's do parking, yeah, like that.
Because they're out of water district.
So, the only ones that it doesn't include, which Ben and I we need to work on that, are the dorms at Lima. So that's the only thing that's not on here. So if we were to not mess with not look at adjusting the base rate as for that $11.50 flat rate, and then the per thousand rate, we just take all of our multi-family parcels and adjust them to represent the number of like apartments in there, trailers, units that are in there. Doing that makes up what we would like to have come back in for the water.
So it works out $1?
Yeah, it works. So this is just an estimate because it's based on, I did the average usage for what each property used, but based on the average usage, with what our current billing is, and then adjusting all the base rates, that brings in a little under, an extra $53,000 in revenue. And then if we go through.
That's for the water, right?
That's for the water. And then if we do the same thing with the sewer, so sewer, we would adjust, and we also have some units that pay a flat rate for their sewer for the multi-dwellings, and then other ones that have a per thousand rate. So I did the analysis on both of those with what the base rate, and if we were to do it under, put everyone under a flat rate or put everyone under the per thousand rate. And the additional for sewer is, they're pretty close. I think they're like $700 between each other, as you can see on there. But that's an extra, well over that's about $65,000 additional, which makes up what we are looking to bring into the sewer fund as well, so that way, we can plan for those expenses that are coming through. Like David has said, there's additional expenses that need to be done, down at the sewer plant, and bring in, the additional revenue that we need so we can account for putting more into the reserve funds.
Nice work.
Thank you for that work.
Yeah, and then Ben and I talked about this too. Because the difference between the flat rate and the per thousand rate, it's very small. It says less than $1,000. Even though the base rate is the one that's just a tiny bit less, we do think that it would be best to put everyone on that base plus per thousand and eliminate the flat rate, so it's just consistent for everyone.
Everybody's on the same page. You're not charging you a flat rate, but you live down the street and you're up per thousand. So this thing here, when we looked at it before, it got to the point that if you own an apartment building, a house on Genesee Street, let's say, you had 4 units in it, you're only paying 1 unit, right? Now you live in a house right next door and you're paying 1 unit, but he's got four apartments in there. So now we're going to switch it, so you're paying for 4 and you're paying for 1, because each resident is now 1 unit. So if you have 4 units, or like the trailer parks, we went through the trailer parks, some of them are marked out for 13, there's actually 17 trailers, right? So we're gonna make it 17. We're just gonna kind of even out the playing field on and I don't want to call them commercial, but it's all the multi-dwelling houses, like she was saying. That way Joe Schmo and Mrs. Joe Schmo aren't getting this increase. It's getting everybody on a playing field, and everybody's unit is now gonna be accounted for, and everybody with multiple units are gonna be paying for multiple base charges. And then from there, if there's more that goes on, in the whole public, whatever the increase, everybody pays the same.
And good check, that's how, granted, they don't do it based off of like a per thousand rate in there, but like Avon does do that with their multifamily units, that they charge per unit from that. Someone else, I don't know if it is, but someone else I mentioned, Philip has done that as well. But I didn't confirm with that when I talked to Avon before, so.
I believe what Alyssa, after we got done looking at that, what we'd like to do is get the information out there, starting with the sewer increase first. Let all these people who have multiple dwellings say, hey, here you go, we're raising your sewer rates first, because the sewer, for us, there's no added income when things go through with the water. You have other revenues of income that we can still dwell on. We're going to start with the sewer, then in the letter, let them know in 6 months, we're going to be raising your water to the same number of units. So it's not such a big hit to them right off the bat. They can start to plan and say, okay, our thing's going to go up $20 a month. They can talk to their, I'm assuming they're going to talk to their tenants. Say, hey, here's your increase to the tenants. Then we'll know that, hey, in 6 months, their rent's going up $20, and everybody's going to be paying their fair share. So we're going to try to give them some, transparency, some more information, so everybody knows what's going on.
And some leeway.
So they can start to prepare for it. But once again, try to get everybody on a level playing field and start making some money back in that. I think we're missing that revenue, that some people are not paying their fair share.
So is this something we would initiate at the first of the year, send out the notifications?
Do we need to advertise this as a rate increase? It's not really a rate increase, I'm saying the parking service people.
I'm willing to advertise on the increase.
So advertise it,
Yeah,
you know.
because it's not going to be an increase, that's high, and that will increase. I would err on the side of
Caution.
caution.
So we can
So we have to advertise
Yep,
first.
advertise it, have a
So
meeting.
do we need to advertise the addresses in question, or do we have a reference to the website to say, to check your addresses here if you're subject to
Advertise what the changes. And if you don't get
People
to
for
the
the term,
term, you're affected.
if you own a multi-dwelling
Home.
home facility or business, whatever.
If your residence is multi-dwelling.
Unless I do know how to word it precisely, but yeah, I mean, we've done like huge notice, but no one's gonna
Right.
but, yeah. You,
And then how far down
How
would we consider implementing the water?
We roughly said 6 months, but we didn't get the sewer going by, let's say, March, and then maybe September have the water going.
Okay.
Just rough numbers coming through.
It's nice to get your water rates in before summer,
Well,
because
we
then
talked
you get a
about
lot
that too.
of, get a lot of revenue.
We didn't want to make it look like it's a big.
I filled my pool up last summer, you can really gouge me.
Yeah, a little bit right there.
Oh, I thought it was poor tonight.
We're very fun.
You're gonna keep that sucker up, right? That sounds awesome. Motion to advertise.
I'll make a motion to advertise the sewer.
Base rate increase.
Base.
Sewer and water. So
Sewer
put it all out
yeah,
there. all
to
out.
advertise it, to get it out there so that people know what's going on.
And second. And second, please. Brian Smith seconds. All in favor, please. Any opposed? So moved. Great work, Alyssa, and Ben, thank you very much.
Most of it, so let's do the lead work.
That was a lot of business.
Actually, Tammy told, and you went and looked at a lot of properties.
It's going up.
My idea to do it separate.
Huh?
It was my idea to do it separate.
It was your idea, yes, it was just my idea to do it separate, but it is a good idea to do it
It's
separate, so.
It's a matter of fact.
So, moving along, any questions for Alyssa regarding the water and sewer rates? Roundtable discussion, Mr. Benjamin, look, do you have anything to share?
Yes, I do. Maybe I could go last.
Fine, I'll go first. I just wanted to mention, and congratulate, Erica for putting on an outstanding artisan event for the tree lighting. It was so well received. I was in awe when I walked to the top of the steps and saw all those vendors up there and all the lights and the music and the warmth and the welcome. And it wasn't garbage. It was really good quality artisan type crafts. I wish I could have seen my mouth drop because I was just like, I've never seen this room transform. Just fantastic. I'm proud of you. So very well done. Very well done. That's all I got. I just wanted to give you kudos.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
You did awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
She's been out here, buddy. Brian, do you have anything to add?
I got two things. One is Lima Gold Majors today. I just want to let you know that as a board, that they have raised their dues and they've raised the price that they're paying for meal, for budget. Village has fallen behind the town in the amount of money that we budget for Lima Gold Majors. I believe we're at 2,000 still in stagnant, and is that correct?
Well, it would be $750.
$750, yeah.
$750.
Yeah.
The town is paying $3,500 a year. So we should just consider whether we up that or not.
What does that money go towards?
It goes towards their activities and luncheons.
Don't they pay for lunches?
They do, and then
Don't
again,
they pay
they've
for
increased.
lunches?
You're eligible, but again,
I'm not
as a public,
Thank you. Very little.
you can question whether you want or not whether we as a society have any kind of a debt to the seniors in our community. So that's something I wanted to share for 6 months from now when we're doing our budget. And
You mean 2 months?
well, when we start at 2 months from now and vote on it in 6 months.
Brian, with that comment, I think you've got to be a little careful, and we need to look into it. For the line Mike had that on, the 3,500,
Yeah.
that possibly is tax money coming out of the village residents too, so
Yeah,
that needs to be
A-side?
looked into.
Is it on the A side?
I believe it is on the A side.
Then we'll definitely look into that. Okay. All right. Second thing I have is New York State Department of Transportation just put out yesterday grant cycle options. One of them is Safe Cross to School, the other is Trails to Rails to Trails, and the other is Safe School. So if anyone on the board would like to start writing grants for things like the park for the Veterans Way Walk, if anyone would like to start writing grants for additional sidewalks or for the sidewalk going up College Street for the school, that would be wonderful. So
DOT is...
yes, New York State DOT.
Do you have a link that you can send to the board?
Yeah, I can. Let me.
At your convenience.
Yeah, so let me write myself a note about that one. But they just brought, and it is 2025, which means that they basically New York State took their hiatus and now they're bringing it back out, putting those numbers out. So we also have a shovel-ready project at the end of Michigan, and Meadowview that could be written for.
Interesting.
So
good info.
And that's all. That's what I have.
Good, Mr. Josh. Ms. Erica.
Yep, so I just again wanted to thank the community, thank you, Mayor, for your support, everybody for that holiday artisan fundraiser event, the Lima Rotary, phenomenal group to work with always, just so many people I'm really grateful for. We raised over $1,222, give or take $1, I don't have the figure right in front of me, but and was able to divvy that up between the respective organizations, the Lima Food Pantry, the ambulance, and certainly the Historical Society, and they're all very grateful. If you attended the event and you took from the giving tree, we're asking that you bring back those gifts by this Saturday, December 13th. There's a box here in the town hall for people to drop off items.
Do we take any tag with it?
They don't have to, but they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can, but anyways, and it doesn't have to be wrapped or anything like that, but the food pantry will take care of distributing that. And then I just want to remind people and invite people that this Saturday, December 13th, at 11 a.m., we're going to meet. The Community Connecting meeting is going to take place over at the Lima Diner. Please come. It's multi-purpose, but it's one to bring members of the community together to just keep celebrating and enhancing Lima. There's some great ideas about starting a theater group. They're revitalizing that.
When is this going to be?
It's this Saturday, December 13th at 11 a.m. at the Diner, Lima Diner.
I don't want it to be a part of that. Unfortunately, my schedule just doesn't permit, so.
That's right after Santa's breakfast at the end of
Yeah.
9 to 11.
Just another cup of coffee.
But I plan on being a part of it in the future.
But it's also a place for the community to come that if maybe they didn't have enough time to bring up a concern here at the village board, I'm also the liaison back to the board for this. And I'm sure the group will hopefully come, maybe they want to stick with that name, but we'll come up with all that. I've gotten some emails from people or comments.
Office hours, was it?
Well, that was one office hours.
Did you come up with that, Tori?
And I know that, we're in the midst of the holidays, but maybe this is a great time just to stop for an hour or so, have a coffee and chill out. 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. Mr. Benjamin Douglas.
Yes, sir, I want to read something, and I thought of this last week, the brainstorm, and I thought, this would be such a great thing if we could do this. Okay, the Roundtable, it's called the Our Father, and I'll give everyone a copy. In fact, we could actually do this in honor of your mother. She was a Jesuit, Erica's mother. I'm going to read this and follow along with me. Because God loves Lima more than we do. Steve, thank you.
this, or read this?
Just, yeah, I'm gonna read it, you can read with me or not, but I'm gonna read it. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, in Lima, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Thank you, Ben. Is there anything else?
No.
Thank you, sir. With that, we have a motion to end the meeting today. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Can I just say something real quick? I'd like to thank the village and Ben for working with the town on the inception of winter with the salt. We did go ahead and find a different way. There's a couple of us that worked with the new highway super, and we have a salt storage. It will be completed by the end of the week. Ben's people have been helping with the town, and for the time being, that is going to be probably around $125,000 to $150,000 savings to the townspeople of Lima. I know this is the village, but to let you know what we've done, because just like you, there's other places that need to be addressed and money needs to be spent over the next few years, and hopefully this gives us salt storage, I would say, Ben, minimum 4 to 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe longer.
Once it gets up going, it should be good.
Yeah.
Ben, thanks for taking me this year.
Yeah, thanks for helping with the towns, guys. Thank
Appreciate
you.
that mention, Steve. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we can take yourself on a personnel issue.
Yes, so we have
Motion
motions.
to end the regular session and enter executive session for personal issue.
Second, all in favor? Aye.